three black men. They in Maryland. They go to Arizona for a baby shower. Well, all of a sudden, there's this so-called mix-up where they rent a car and then they get accused of stealing the car. So check out this body cam video footage. It shows these men all calm but also confused and caught off guard when they were surrounded by cops outside of a Cane's restaurant in Glendale, Arizona. We got audio?
Seat on the curb. Hey, man, have a seat on the curb. Have a seat on the curb. Have a seat on the curb. Have a seat on the curb, please, sir. Sir. Step out, have a seat on the curb. Have a seat on the curb, please.
Can I put this down?
Take it with you.
Can I get out, sir?
Have a seat on the curb, yes, sir.
Slow?
Have a seat on the curb, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Can I get out slow?
Have a seat on the curb, yes, sir. Have a seat on the curb.
Can I get out slow?
Yeah, have a seat on the curb, please.
Yes, sir.
Please, sir.
No problem. Can I get out slow?
Have a seat.
Yes, sir.
5-5 Kane addressing 3. Can you step him up, please? Hey, I'll explain it all to you guys in just a moment, okay?
Fine, sir.
All right.
We're out of town. We're from Maryland.
What's that?
We're from Maryland, out of town.
Oh, I'm from D.C.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to my kid, man. Well, no problem.
Okay. We'll explain it all and see you guys can get here. Hopefully you guys walk out of here, okay?
Yes, sir.
Anybody got any guns?
No.
Oh, okay.
Go home tomorrow. I have a flight 6 in the morning.
A flight?
Yeah.
Not a good time to fly.
You out of DCA, too? Yeah, DCA.
Yeah. All right. Don't let them scare you. They're just coming for us just because I called.
Oh, no problem, no problem.
Okay. Whose car is this?
All right, so y'all, this was a 15-minute long video. Now, they were driving a blue Dodge Charger, okay? They rented the car through the app Turo, which is a car-sharing app like Airbnb for vehicles. Joining me now is Jeffrey Adu, Kwabena Asante, Daniel Ampofo, along with their attorney, Kevin Murray. So glad to have y'all here. So what happened? What caused y'all to get stopped? Did somebody call in? Did somebody see y'all make a wrong turn? How did y'all get stopped?
We don't know. We were inside the Cane's restaurant. When we came out, as you can see in the video, we were getting into the car.
Stop. I'm sorry. Y'all weren't driving?
No,
sir.
Y'all were in a restaurant?
Yes, sir.
The car was parked.
Car was parked?
Yes, sir.
So that means that they were just scanning license plates?
Unfortunately.
I couldn't tell you.
from what they said is that we tripped a system, something in the system when we passed a traffic light or a camera, something like that, something to that effect. That's what they told us.
Okay, they claim y'all tripped a system, and then all of a sudden, how long were y'all inside the Cane's?
Probably 10, 15 minutes max. We placed the order to go, got the food and left.
So y'all walk out of Cane's, and all of a sudden y'all look up, and it's just cops everywhere?
Guns drawn immediately.
Me and Jeffrey actually got into the car. We didn't see the cop. The driver, Quab, was the last one getting in the car because he had to put his food at the top of the car. And then we heard the cop kind of like yelling at him to sit on the curb. We, of course, were clueless. We didn't know what was going on. So you can see the confusion initially. So it was one cop at first. He had his gun drawn as soon as he got out the car, as you can see in the body cam footage. After he told Quab to sit on the curb, he told me to get out of the car. I was in the back passenger seat. I had my drink in my hand, and I asked him if I could put it down. He said no, so I had to take it with me. And then he told Jeff to get out the car last. And then he called for backup. You could hear him coming in the background. You heard him say that the backup is coming. At this time, he didn't tell us what was going on. We still don't know why we were being pulled over.
So right now, y'all still don't know why you got pulled over?
No, as you heard him say, he said he was going to let us know in a minute. A minute turned into maybe 5 to 7 minutes. We didn't know for a while. while we were being pulled over.
Yeah, Roland, these are all great questions you're asking, and that's what we're starting with to get to the bottom of the initial provocation of the officers and why these young men were pulled over, why they were handled the way they were handled.
Okay, so first of all, I don't see it in, I don't see it in the script. What it says, you're visiting Arizona. Where did this take place in Arizona?
Glendale, Arizona.
Okay, Glendale, Arizona. Okay, got it.
Correct.
All right, so how long were y'all detained?
Like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, I would say 20 minutes.
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes for
So
sure.
after 15, 20 minutes, then what happened? They just let y'all go?
Yeah, once they detained us and read us our Miranda rights, put us in handcuffs, put us in the back of the police car, then they told us why they were treating us that way. Once they said that, my brother Quab, he had the reservations for Turo for the car, so he was able to show. He was still handcuffed, but he gave him his password. They unlocked his phone. That's when they saw the reservation and saw that we didn't steal the car. We legally rented it from Turo. And then they had a brief discussion with their other officers, and then they took the handcuffs off us eventually.
So
they confiscated the rental car though.
So, well, hold up. This is where I'm still. So they reported. So they claim that someone else reported the car stolen?
Correct. They said it was a stolen car, and we were the ones in possession of the stolen car. They also said that we fit the description of suspects, which you still to this day haven't heard.
Wait a minute, hold up. So you so you rented the car through Turo.
Correct.
And so was that a person that was a person's car?
So, yeah, there was another company that uses Turo to rent out their cars. And we rented it through that company. But, of course, yeah, the umbrella company is Turo. So ultimately, it was through Turo.
So did y'all then call the company and say, yo, why is that they claim this car was reported stolen? What did the company say?
Well, not at that moment because, of course, after a situation like that, you deal with the shock and the trauma. So our main goal after that situation was just to make it back to our Airbnb safe and sound because we've never been in a situation like that.
Now, when did this take place?
This was Saturday night, guys?
Yeah, Saturday night, February 1st.
February 1st.
Okay, so it's been 2 months. What did the company say when y'all said, hey, the cops claim this car was reported stolen?
Well, they said it was a mistake. They said they did report it stolen, but then they said that they recovered the car. That's what the company said.
The company claims they did report it stolen.
Correct.
But they
recovered the car. Yes.
They recovered the car.
Correct.
So did the company ever notify cops?
That's the $1 million question, sir. We're not sure.
Okay.
And that's where I.
So Kevin, I gotta ask you, you attorney, who the hell y'all suing?
Everybody. I'll be very, very clear. We're investigating, and all the responsible parties are on the line until they're not, until they can prove that they didn't do something wrong. I'll be very, very clear. Whether it be the name of the company that used Turo for not clearing it, and we're even looking into the police department, making sure they went through the proper protocols, the proper policies and procedures that they were supposed to do, and the way they handled the situation.
Okay, I got to go back. They said y'all fit the description.
Correct.
So was there a description that 3 people stole a car?
When we asked what the description was, they never told us. We asked multiple times, and nobody gave a description. So,
Okay, so
give them the benefit of the doubt. We know what that means.
No, but here's the whole deal, though. If a car was reported stolen by the company that used Turo, they had to file. They had to actually file a report. Have y'all seen the actual stolen car report they filed?
I haven't seen it.
These gentlemen have, and we've just hired recently, and we're investigating. We have an investigator in Arizona right now doing just that.
Because bottom line is, if they filed a report, this notion fit the description, which means that it had to have been described to them that 3 black men stole a blue Dodge.
Right.
Wow. Did y'all eventually make it to the shower?
Well, this was after the shower, actually.
Got it. And how soon did y'all get out of Arizona?
The next morning.
Next morning.
Packed up that night and got out of there that next morning.
Unbelievable. All right, gents, keep us abreast what happens next.
Thank you.
Will do.
I appreciate
And
it.
we appreciate you very much, Roland, for having us on your show. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe, this is the reality being black in America. Damn, you can't rent a vehicle and you fit the description. Come on, man.
It's a cold game, and of course, first of all, I'm glad the brothers are alive because you got guns drawn, you got all this stuff going on, and obviously these brothers would be a threat with a drink from Cane's in their hand, right? So I think it's going to be very interesting. Attorney, of course, is dealing with it the right way, that everybody's on until we see demonstrably that they're off. But I'll give you 10-1 that they won't find anything in writing with a description 3 black men still in that vehicle. I'm almost certain of that. You'll probably be able to catch them in that lie. But this reminds you how quickly things can go awry. And I remember speaking on a panel once at a college, and the kids were mad when I told them, we were talking about how to deal with police stops, being stopped by police. And they want to argue the unfairness. We understand that, but it's kind of hard when they're the ones with the gun and society's benefit of the doubt. Because what I told them is, I would rather deal with you, meaning that you made it, as opposed to dealing with your parents because you didn't. These brothers deserve a lot of credit because they stayed calm. They didn't give these guys a reason to fly off the handle. And the most important thing, frankly, I think they've got a good case, but the most important thing is surviving the contact. And they were able to do that because they were compliant. They asked questions. Can we do that? Can I hold my drink? You tell me to hold my drink. Can I sit down with it? Those types of things. I think that every brother that's out there that wants to channel 400 years of slavery and all this other stuff into this police stop, which should not have happened, but you decide that the hill you may literally want to die on. I'm not saying that you're wrong in feeling that way. What I'm saying is survive the contact. And I think these brothers did a good job of that.
Larry?
Yeah, watching that video, Roland, is just traumatic for all of us. Either been in situations like that or know other people in our family and friends have been in situations like that. And I think the bottom line is these brothers survived this encounter. Let's remember, statistically, black folks are 2 to 3 times more likely to be killed by law enforcement based on encounters. It's not being arrested, encounters. So anytime we see situations like this, we can, as my colleague highlighted, it can go south really fast. And then you can have an issue where someone has been shot and accused of reaching or whatever else they, will come up with. But the language you heard used in terms of, they fit the description. We've heard that far too many times to count in our lives. So, but once again, I'm glad they're going to sue whoever is going to be responsible. This could end in a tragedy and really impacted the lives of multiple families. But this is another example of things that happen every day in America.
Mustafa?
These brothers had the trifecta, right? Driving while black, parking while black, eating while black. Luckily, we get to talk about Black joy because they got a chance to make it home. And Joe talked about survival, and that's what it's all about, so that we can live to fight another day. So it'll be interesting to see how the case plays out, and hopefully they get justice.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.
Months after a video surfaced showing Jonathan Spanos, the owner of a restaurant in Pennsylvania, going on a racist tirade during what looked like a road rage incident, repeatedly using the N-word and saying, "I'm a rapist." Okay, well, just watch for yourself.
Church again, and you're a fucking half brother nigger. Really? Yeah, you're half nigger brother. Yeah, you're half nigger brother. Fuck you. Half nigger brother. Fuck you. I don't have a half nigger brother. Keep videoing. It's okay.
Okay, you said the N-word, like, on camera. That's going to be great for you.
Oh, that's right.
That's going to be great for you.
I am. I am a racist. I hate trash. John Spanos I hate trash.
Oh.
You pop me the finger. You're wrong. Shame on you.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Shame on you. That's what I did. I said he has a half nigger brother.
That's going to be great for you.
I am. I am a racist. I hate trash.
John Spanos
I hate trash.
Oh.
So Spanos is now suing the people who filmed him and posted the video online after the backlash he got. He claims he and his wife never threatened anyone and were just talking to a family friend outside their home when all this happened. He said the video's release has caused him and his family such
language,
emotional distress, led to the restaurant's closure. The restaurant's website is down. The place is marked as temporarily closed. This lawsuit asks for damages and says the video hurt his business and reputation. Here's him talking at a news conference.
Video captured a heated family confrontation in which I intentionally used the most ugly language known to me to lash out in anger. I repeatedly used the N-word to inflict pain on another person and sarcastically stated that I was a racist. I was wrong from not walking away from that volatile situation. I was wrong for responding in anger with hateful language. I was wrong for using a racist term.
I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. Candace, does he have a legal claim?
Listen, the number one defense to defamation, which is what he's suing for, and intentional emotional distress, I believe, the number one defense is the truth. So we have the video, and that's the truth. Even if he was saying it sarcastically, the truth is that he said it. The truth is, right, that's the truth. He was on public property. Nobody invaded his privacy in order to get that video. Nobody did anything that was against the law. They shot a video that he participated in. He didn't even at the moment say, I don't want it. He was mad about it, but he continued. He decided to be sarcastic about it in his own words. But the First Amendment is out there for a reason. You are allowed to say things like that. The problem is that there are repercussions, there are consequences, that there are hate laws that are in place, and you cannot do that. So for him to sue for defamation is just really a waste of court filings, proceedings, times, and he should be penalized for that because that is ridiculous. If it's the truth, it can't be defamation, sir. That's it. That's it.
Matt?
You know, I hate having to answer questions after Candace. She's one of my favorite people, but she steals everything. She's 100% right. The only thing I'll add to that is I immediately thought of what a lot of states have, including Texas, what's called anti-slap laws. So that's when you get a lawsuit against you for constitutionally protected activity, you have a strong defense. And most of the time, to Candace's point, those cases are dismissed. Now, that's a little different than defamation. But ultimately here, what I think you have is exactly what she said. He's on public property. The person is filming, exercising their constitutional rights. And in the dissemination of that, there's nothing illegal about that. So I frankly do not understand his lawyer strategy at all. This seems to me like this is filed to try to save face by saying, we're going to try to assert some nebulous legal right. But I don't see a jury of 12 people or 6 people, however it's constituted there, thinking that he has a legal claim at all, because not only is it the truth, I mean, he can't claim that he was in any way, goaded or coerced or something into, one, making the statements, and 2, he doesn't have any expectation of privacy in anything that's happening on a public street. I mean, you use this language and you say these kinds of things at your own peril. So his business being shut down and all of that is his own fault. And I don't see how a jury would ever think there was a basis to this legal claim. Thank you for stealing everything, Ken.
What's also hilarious, Michael, is, this has brought me undue attention. I guess you want to continue it.
Yeah, exactly. So they're always remorseful after they get caught. They always apologize and, God knows my heart. And, I'm not that bad of a racist and things like this after they get caught, after it goes viral. So, and the other thing is he said the N-word multiple times. So it sounds like you've had practice with this as well. So and then the patrons start withdrawing economic support from him, which they should, because you wouldn't want somebody like that fixing your food out of your site, would you? And now all of this comes back on him, and he's like, "Oh my God, no, come back, stop it." So this is now what the legal strategy may be trying to appeal to the Fox News Trump supporter crowd. Trying to get sympathy, trying to get support. Oh, come on and eat at my restaurant. Things of this nature. So they may be trying to, appeal to that. So in 2025, we need to be selective of where we spend our dollars eating. Also,
Hey, Spanos, I got one for you. Why don't you simply open up a restaurant called Bigots Are Us?
Hey, Roland, can I just say
Bigots and briskets.
Michael had the ultimate black perspective on this. You wouldn't want that man fixing your food. That's exactly what my big man said. Right, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Roland, I will say this, that is one thing that could only be maybe a possibly good thing out of this, is just like Michael said, that you get somebody to support him. He goes on Fox, makes his rounds. You get some nationalists, some right-winger to start a GoFundMe page in order to help this family that all he was doing was expressing his anger, and he has a First Amendment right to do this. And he will get lots of people, I bet, if there was a GoFundMe page. But that is the only reason why I could see that they are doing that. I agree with Michael.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.
So I just need our people prepared.
That's right.
That they're going to attack black institutions.
Absolutely.
So if there ever was a time for black institutions to be aligned and for black people to understand the fight we're about to face, if they are undoing a settlement. See, this is why I went off and see, I told y'all, I talk to folk on all kinds of different sides. See, I love these people who claim, man, you're a Democratic shield. No. I'm here for black people.
I just got called that on Blue Sky.
I mean, whatever. They stupid. We fight for black people.
Right.
So whether you Democrat or Republican, I've said to black people, we still constituents. Trump still should be funding HBCUs the same way Biden and Harris did. We still constituents. So understand, today, I sent an email, I sent a text. First of all, I sent a series of tweets. Then I text him, because Daryl Scott, Pastor Daryl Scott out of Cleveland, he posted a tweet. And his tweet was, go ahead, Maya. I woke up to a call from President Trump this morning. We talked about a lot of stuff, politics, tariffs, sports, had a lot of laughs. One thing stood out. He said, quote, last administration, I was fighting for survival and the country. This time I'm fighting only for the country. That's my dude. Okay. So I responded, okay, Pastor Scott, did you ask Trump why he canceled a DOJ lawsuit against petrochemical companies in Louisiana that are killing black people in an area called Cancer Alley? Hey, Pastor Scott, did you ask Trump why he called a deal in Lowndes County an illegal DEI settlement? 9,800 mostly black people have had raw sewage backed up into their homes and yards due to lack of an infrastructure investment by Alabama. Also, Pastor Scott, did you ask Donald Trump why his HUD canceled investigation in Harris County, Texas, where the Biden-Harris administration said the state refused $1 billion in hurricane relief to a black and brown county? Also, Daryl Scott, did you ask Trump why his DOJ pulled out of a lawsuit alleging black and brown voters were disenfranchised in the 2021 Texas redistricting? Hey, Pastor Scott, did you ask Donald Trump why he won't put pressure on Republican governors in red states to pay HBCU land grants the $13 billion they are owed? Did you ask him why $17 million in grants were canceled at FAMU's pharmacy school? Here is what I know, Pastor Scott. Tim Scott, Byron Donalds, Burgess Owens, Wesley Hunt, Sharice Lane, the Cartier folks, Hodge twins, David Harris, Joseph Pinion won't say a damn thing about these issues. Y'all black MAGA tout how great he is, so let's see y'all speak up. Now, Pastor Scott, if you're going to go hard at Charlie Kirk for his racist attacks on MLK and black doctors and pilots and call out the foolishness of Candace Owens, let's see you speak up on the issues I outlined. I'll wait. So 5 hours ago, I see he responded. No, he told me to tell you to call him. Then he later tweeted, I saw, I didn't realize, let me see, did I see the tweet? He said, I saw it earlier. He said, oh, I didn't know I worked for you. Y'all know I'm about to go ahead and respond. So let me just go ahead.
Oh, Lord.
You know, well, I'm gonna respond on Twitter in a second. Now, let me just go ahead and respond to his ass live. You know, cause see, I just a firm believer, y'all, that sometimes you just got to go ahead. Well, Scott, let me find it. Well, Daryl Scott, I dare you to set up a one-on-one live interview with me and Trump. My studio is 2 blocks from the White House. Pick the day and time. Hold up. One-on-one live interview. We can go 2 hours or longer. And me and my, so y'all know I ain't scared. My Black Star Network team will be there. I'll ask him all of this directly. Let's see here. Since my thing is I'm over characters, let me go ahead and edit, period. Boom. Let's see if he responds. See, y'all, here's the whole deal. This is the whole point I'm talking about. These black MAGA people do not represent black people. Nola, these black MAGA people are not going to fight for black people. These black MAGA people love to go to White House functions, love to run their mouths. They love to come to the black community and go on black radio and tout Trump all he doing for black folk. But when you ask them directly about very specific actions Trump has taken that have a detrimental impact on black people, all of a sudden they get quiet. Now, Scott knows. He texts me he sent me text messages when he was going after Charlie Kirk. He sent me text messages when he was going after Candace Owens, but it's amazing how he responded to this text message. I guess he a little too busy.
I always think about this, even going all the way back to slavery days, you always had those black folks who was going to sell you out to massa. It's still the same folks, the same way we are still dealing with the same sort of militia folks, from the Civil War, the same sort of racists, the same sort of white supremacists. It's the same sort of black folk who absolutely would have sold all the slaves out who were trying to escape. It's the same sort of mindset. If you cozy up to massa, if you think that, he feels like you're on his or her side, then you will get all the benefits of whiteness. That has never worked. It won't work. And I genuinely don't know what they get out of it. The thing for me, which is really sad, the amount of self-hatred you must have inside of yourself to sell your soul, to sell out your community, like that. I wish you well. I wish, thoughts and prayers, peace and blessings. That's all. That's literally all I have for you. That's literally all I got.
Well, how shall I put this, Greg? I agree, but the only point where I will disagree, let me just be real clear, is I believe that if you are going to be in the room and you claim you love black people, then show it. There should be some proof. Now, for some reason, wait. Let me finish. So I'm gonna use an example. I can't find the interview. I'm gonna find the interview, but this is an interview. This was at Dick Gregory's funeral. When I interviewed, come on, guys. Anthony, come on, thank you. Y'all got to keep up now. Come on. I need you to just go to it. This is an interview of me and Bob Brown. A lot of black folks ain't got no clue who Bob Brown is. Bob Brown worked with Dr. King. Bob Brown got a phone. Bob Brown and when Dr. King was hitting companies, the companies would try to call money black. How can we fix this problem? They would call Bob Brown. They didn't know that Bob Brown was working with Dr. King, was on the board. Dr. King called Bob Brown our secret weapon. Operation Breadbasket. Go listen to his August 1967 speech to SCLC, Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos or Community. He literally says it in the speech. Nixon wins in 68. Bob Brown gets a phone call from Nixon. Nixon literally calls Bob Brown and offers him a job. No title, but Bob Brown's portfolio was one of the biggest in the White House. Nixon made it clear, if Bob Brown asked for something, give it to him. Bob Brown wrote in his book there was a meeting, and there was these white generals who were ignoring Bob Brown because Bob Brown felt that how you gonna have the 75th anniversary of something to do with military, wasn't no black 4-star generals. Bob Brown said, no, we're gonna have a black 4-star. I think that was Chappie. The the white generals blew Bob Brown off. Bob Brown told the chief of staff, went in and told Nixon, Nixon called the generals in. When Bob Brown asked for something, you give it to him. Earl Graves was short of money. Earl Graves was short of money to launch Black Enterprise. The white conservatives in the Nixon administration would not give Ed Graves a grant. Bob Brown cussed him out and said, give him the money. That's how he's able to launch Black Enterprise. They didn't want to give Earl Graves the money because Earl Graves had worked for Robert F. Kennedy. So all I'm saying is, if you're going to be black and MAGA, be like black conservatives or black Republicans who we've known for generations, who actually love black people and actually pushed and prodded on behalf of black people to get things for black people. They weren't there just to get invites to Mar-a-Lago. Greg, go ahead.
It's true. I mean, but we all know, and Roland, you know this more intimately than most, having spent time with people like Bob Brown, and encourage people to read Bob Brown's memoir that he wrote recently, You Can't Go Wrong Doing Right. Arthur Fletcher, who's called the father of affirmative action. His son, I saw his son a couple of weeks ago. I was at Morehouse in Atlanta, who's working on a memoir bio of his father, and David Hamilton Gollin's recent book, A Terrible Thing to Waste, Arthur Fletcher and the Conundrum of the Black Republican. Those were black Republicans. Jack Roosevelt Robinson, who walked away from the party because of Nixon and what he saw as the move white in the wake of the Barry Goldwater messes of the 1960s, mid-60s. But that's not what Darrell Scott is. Darrell Scott is dancing on a string. He has no political philosophy. His political philosophy is what's good for me as an individual. And that's truly unfortunate. That's not what Candace Owens is. They're not conservatives. They're grifters. And I can respect the grift because I think that's what a lot of people have when they don't have a political philosophy. You know, you're striking such a resonant chord tonight, brother, because what we're really talking about is black institutions. And we're talking about fear. The Trump administration is trafficking in fear. And when you traffic in fear like that, you know, what you're relying on is to tap into people's fear that they will be hurt. It reminds me of a song they used to sing during the SNCC movement, the Ballad of Uncle Tom. And the lyrics are like, I'm an Uncle Tom, Lord. That's what the people say. But I ain't no Uncle Tom, Lord. I'm just a little afraid. So help me, Lord, to stand up and be a man. And I'll fight segregation as long as I can. And the idea is, we're talking about fear. There are people who will say, well, we shouldn't talk about fighting, and is it going to be violent, and what are you going to do? I would say to those people, don't be scared. You don't love your master, you're scared of her. You don't love your master, you're scared of her. But as soon as you lose your fear, and this is how you lose your fear by coming together with other people. The more people we join, the less fear we have. Last night, around 6 p.m., around the time we went on the air tonight, probably a couple of dozen Howard students put up a couple of tents and created what they would call the People's University on campus. And some of the administrators at Howard approached them and asked what they were doing. And then here come the damn Metro Police Department and the Howard Police saying, what are y'all doing? And then they were encouraged to take the tents down. Now, they stayed to about 4 o'clock this morning. We got a letter this morning from Howard University Official Communications saying that Howard University supports the students' right and everybody's right to have academic freedom and debate and protest, but also saying that some people had come from the outside and were prevailing upon these students and had done this. And as far as I can tell from the students that I listened to today when I asked about it, because I was in class last night and didn't even find out about it until this morning, they said it wasn't outside people, that the people they were told were out there were Howard students. And so I guess, you know, what I'm trying to say now at this point, I'm reinforcing what you said about historically black colleges and universities earlier. And in the context of Darrell Scott, who has no constituency, who has no community, and is just a little afraid. And this is to everyone watching this who's just a little afraid. You're not no Uncle Tom. You ain't no Aunt Jemima. You're just a little afraid. Understand this, that when you stand together, when you join together, we don't have the money that Harvard has. And by the way, Harvard covers costs for anybody who gets enrolled at Harvard, who comes to Harvard, whose families make $200,000 and less. That's what kind of money they have, and that applies to international students too. So yes, there are international students who come to Harvard and write the check, but if your family makes less than $200,000 a year, you go to Harvard with no incurring of debt. So they are well fortified. Well, you can't say that it's you can't say that it's Stillman. You can't say that with our brother Walter Kimbrough, as you were talking with him last week. You can't say that at Talladega. But this is what you can say. The same communities that surrounded the city of Montgomery when Joanne Robinson, a professor of English at Alabama State University and the Women's Political Council of Montgomery, launched and sustained the Montgomery bus boycott, the same communities that poured resources into them, that fed students, that put together the money to be able to sustain the boycott, those communities can step up again, Roland. Those people who send you envelopes of money, the money that folds and the money that jingles, those that cash out, those who make the annual donation or the monthly donation, those who press money in your hands at airports and in railroad stations, those people are the ones that will make sure not only that we endure, but that we overwhelm these folk. Because when you punch a bully back, when you lose your fear and punch them back, that's when you realize that you shouldn't have been afraid at any point. It's not about anger. It's about fear. And we can overcome our fear together.
You know, Nola, in Trump's first run amok in the Oval Office, he only had one black top aide. And see, I need people to understand. Again, when I ain't new to this, I'm true to this. See, I love all the folk, these Audis are kicking my behind. I love all the folk who don't understand how we roll and how black media has rolled. When Reince Priebus ran the Republican National Committee, they had a Black History Month program, and I got invited. It was actually at the Republican, the house they have, where they have their club. Mm-hmm. Now, when I walked in, all the black people, what's up, Roland? All the black people who work there. So we go into the room, all these black Republicans. And I remember there was this one girl, she was a fake black Republican. Her name was Crystal. She used to be on my show sometimes. And Crystal was mad. She got mad. Because when I walked into the room, all these black Republicans were walking up to me, greeting me. And they sat me between Reince Priebus and David Stewart, the billionaire out of St. Louis. And then the next year they had a program at the Howard Theater, and they actually asked me to MC the event with Tara Wall, black conservative. Was some Negroes really upset.
Oh, man.
But the reason that was hilarious, because see, what the fake black conservative didn't realize, all these black folks in there knew me. Generals, business people, political people, and I knew them. Because I knew they were real black Republicans. Mm-hmm. So when Omarosa rolled into the White House with Trump last time, I literally called, I said, listen, I can't stand his punk ass. I said, if you gonna be there, be some use to black people. I said, he loved golf. I said, why don't you have him put some extra money in the interior budget for the black golf course in D.C. that folk don't, the historic black golf course in Washington, D.C., that people don't realize is actually under the Department of Interior and not the city of Washington, not Washington, D.C. I said, you're going to do something. I said, be a Bob Brown. I said, get his book. I said, matter of fact, call Bob Brown. So you know what I did? I called Bob Brown. I said, Bob, will you meet? He's like, yeah, I'll meet with her. Never called. Go to my iPad. His other top aide was Jerron Smith. Trump called him a star, all this sort of stuff. And this is what he looked like. And he came on the show, sounding crazy, defending bullshit. And I come and said, Jerron, I said, here's your problem. See, I said, you defended bullshit. I said, don't defend bullshit. I said, Abad Brown was smart enough not to defend bullshit. I said, if you're gonna be there, be of use to black people.
Yes.
That's all. Matter of fact, I ain't got a problem saying it. Darryl Scott, I just text his ass. I said, if you gonna, and I sent him his little tweet. I said, oh, your text stopped working? And I said, if you're gonna rep black folks, have the courage to be Abad Brown. And if you don't know him, you need, all caps, to read his book and sit down in all caps, learn from him. He was a real all caps black Republican. I'm waiting for his response. Here's the point I am making. We are still constituents. And if there are gonna be black people who are around Trump, loving Trump, stop doing a jig at Mar-a-Lago and then make demands. I'm real clear. When I sat in the room and Biden was in the room and Harris was in the room, and I sat at the table when Obama was there, and in 2 of the 3 meetings I got invited to Trump's first time, I was asking black stuff. I let them other TV anchors talk about immigration and all the other stuff. I brought up black stuff. And if these black MAGA folk want to be seen as legitimate black people, don't just be happy you got invited, actually rep black folks. And I just gave y'all 4 or 5 examples of stuff they should be asking of Trump that too many of them are scared to do. No, now you got to go. Go ahead and finish your comment.
You know, two things that I want to say. Being from the Deep South, I'm familiar with Republicans, you know, and then also being in the profession that I am, the whole time we were having this conversation, I'm thinking about Colin Powell, you know, who was a Republican who absolutely stood on business, you know, when he was in rooms about black people. And the distinction between MAGA and traditional conservatives or Republicans, I think that's so salient and important. And that's what we have to understand. A lot of them, in my personal opinion, they feel rejected by the cool kids. I mean, when you think about the Kanye West of the world who are drawn, and his ex-girlfriend, who are drawn to the MAGAs is because they feel like, oh, they accept me. I'm not being judged. I can get an invite to this White House. I couldn't get an invite to Obama's White House or to Biden-Harris's White House, right? So this is very different. We're not talking about people who are raised with a certain set of values. We are talking about people who feel rejected, and they think they kikiing at the White House thinking they doing something cute when they look absolutely ridiculous. We are talking about 2 different sets of people, 2 different types of people with their standards and the reasons why they were conservatives and Republicans. This is not that, is what I would submit. And so these types of personalities, the pick-me's, you know, they're not trying to stand up for black people. They're not interested in a black agenda. They're not interested in reparations for real. No. They just want to be at a White House. They just want to be included somewhere. They are the pick-me's, which is very different from a lot of traditional conservative Republicans.
Well, I guess I was confused that because when you said the pick-me sound too much like the pickaninnies. But I was...
Look, pick-me is a real thing. It's not my...
No, I mean, I'm just simply stating it sounded real close. It sounded real close to that other phrase.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.
All of these MAGA people, where are they? These black MAGA people. It's amazing how quiet they are. So this decision impacts black people in Lowndes County. The Cancer Alley decision to stop that lawsuit against petrochemical company affects black people in Louisiana. They stopped a lawsuit dealing with black people in voting in Texas. Donald Trump does not give a damn about black people. And all of these black people, all of those Negroes who were so happy, smiling and shucking and jiving at the White House Black History Month party, it's amazing how quiet all of them they are. Where's Michaela Montgomery? Where's C.J. Pearson? Where is David Harris? Where is, what's his name? Pinto. Where are all these folks? Where's that little girl from FAMU who's running around? It's amazing how quiet they are when these things are impacting black people and you don't hear peep.
Look, the thing about this new wave of black MAGA is that, look, they don't. It's actually sad and disappointing, right? Because they don't care about black people. They just care about feeling slightly better about themselves for the poor decisions that they make. So yeah, all they do care about is doing things like, showing up to the White House for a quote unquote Black History Month event right after the White House, assaults Black history. We shouldn't expect them to ever speak out against things, like the White House ending this DEI lawsuit, but they're calling it a DEI lawsuit when in reality it's actually the federal government cleaning up a state and local government mess. We shouldn't expect them to reasonably, speak out when, they want to shut down the Blacksonian, right? We shouldn't reasonably expect them to speak out when they want to erase Harriet Tubman and the true essence of the Underground Railroad from the National Park Service. We shouldn't expect them to speak out, when, the Pentagon says, oh, yeah, Jackie Robinson was DEI hire. We shouldn't expect them to speak out with none of this because first and foremost, they have to appeal to white conservatives for the grift to work because without that appeal, the grift just wouldn't work. And so, when you're looking at a Dr. Julio out of Atlanta, when you're looking at, in any of these folk that decide to pop up and run around and prop up Donald Trump, just expect them to not show up when it comes to actual black issues affecting black people, when it comes to this Trump White House.
Congo, and bottom line is this here. When you look at all of this, these folks are silent. They are complicit. Again, Byron Donalds, nothing. Burgess Owens, nothing. Wesley Hunt, nothing. Tim Scott, nothing. They're just all quiet. They're saying nothing. And these are real issues impacting black people, impacting the lives of black people.
Yeah, and these guys got more smoke for Pastor Jamal Bryant than they have for anything this administration is doing. And it's shameful and disgraceful. When you mentioned Tim Scott and Byron Donalds and the like, this is who they are. And they're still trying to find a way to angle for some way to get in good graces with this administration to build their profile while our people are dying, while our people are struggling. And these situations, Trump and his people, all they see with these areas, all they see is land. And they see possibilities of people having to move into other areas so they can go in and take over that land. And for these poor white folks in these rural communities and these other spaces, they're going to do the same thing with you as well, if they're not doing it already. I don't know if there's other networks that are speaking out, for poor, marginalized white people. We do on this network, but I'm saying we're paying real attention to it like we're doing right now. They're coming for everybody, and they have no respect for people who are poor, for people who are struggling, and for people who are dealing with, as Brother Craig was saying, man-made disasters. And this is the other thing. Did you see that interview last week where Kennedy, they were like, hey, man, you cut this program for teen diabetes. And he was like, oh, we didn't do that. We just cut all the DEI stuff. They use DEI as a trigger word for everything. And as long as they use that term DEI for everything, the Byron Donalds of the world, the Tim Scotts of the world, none of them are going to speak up because they don't want to be associated with anything that might actually be looked at DEI. This is not DEI. This is public health. This is people dying. This is communities being torn apart, and it's been happening for decades. And I don't know what's going to happen with these black Republicans because, to be quite honest, as long as they can continue to be a mouthpiece for Donald Trump, we're not going to hear a peep for them about anything having to do with the empowerment of black people. And in these situations, we are on our own from them.
Absolutely. And so I think it is safe to say that black people can forget having any protection at all from this administration. I mean, you can forget them standing up for black people. They are going to stand up for big business at every turn.
100%. I mean, look, John James announced his run for governor of Michigan, right? I think every single black Michiganer needs to be asking them from here on out, why haven't you done anything to support the situation in Flint? And what can we reasonably expect you to lie about you're going to do if you get elected governor?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And so, sure, John James, where you at? Where you at? And this is where every single one of these black Republicans need to be questioned specifically about these decisions that impact black people on the Congo. As simple as that. And we should let them off the hook.
Oh, absolutely. And given the incredible work that was done in Louisiana to destroy, those 4 initiatives that the governor had on the ballot there, these black Republicans need to wake up because, as you always talk about, Roland, when we get the turnout and get our numbers out in the places where the places we populate, we are unstoppable. And I think that more and more black people slowly but surely are waking up to that fact. When you look at the work of Black Votes Matter and so many of these other organizations, I think every black Republican should be on notice right now. You're not going to be able to bring in 50 Cent. You're not going to be able to bring in some of these other guys who are going to speak for you and just say, oh, we'll just get some black votes. We'll just throw in a black celebrity here and there. It's not going to work this time around. And these guys are continually and daily making themselves irrelevant because the Trump administration has shown that they have nothing for them. I'm not even convinced Byron Donalds will even get that Trump endorsement when he runs for governor in Florida. But where are these guys going to go? They're going to think they can always come back, kind of Candace Owens-like, try to rehabilitate themselves, go on a couple of podcasts here and there, maybe get an interview on some of these. There's always room with Stephen A. Smith and some of these other guys who does not speak for black people in the Democratic Party, but they will see that as a way to kind of move themselves up. But we have to be unforgiving in how we challenge the people who have abandoned us. They cannot be able to be allowed back in, especially after this administration continues to reject them. And again, going back to that Louisiana example, we are showing that when we flex our muscle, we are unstoppable. And all of those black Republicans out there need to be on notice with that.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.
in Memphis, residents there are complaining bitterly about Elon Musk and what is going on with his particular firm. We're gonna, in a moment, we're gonna be talking with Representative Justin Pearson about that. This whole AI, first of all, this was happening in Southwest Memphis. Okay, this black community, they're on the front lines of a growing environmental fight, and his AI company XAI. They are the ones who, of course, he built to take on OpenAI and ChatGPT. People in Memphis are seriously worried about air quality, asthma, and survival. And so we've seen these environmental issues all around. And what Elon Musk has been doing with Donald Trump's approval, what they've been doing is targeting their critics. You see how he's been going after every federal agency where there has been an investigation of him. So we're going to talk to Representative Pearson in just a second. But here's the thing that I'm laughing about, okay, about these fools. And I saw this tweet from country singer John Rich, and he's an absolute MAGA suck-up. I mean, an absolute MAGA suck-up. And he posted on his Twitter feed about paying taxes. And let me just show y'all what this fool had to say. He tweets, "It's always been stomach churning, but after learning all that DOGE has found, paying my, give me 1 second. It's always been stomach churning, but after learning all that DOGE has found, paying my taxes this year has brought on a whole new level of nausea." He's a moron. You know why? Because all DOGE keeps doing is backtracking on what they claim they found. Now remember they said, we're going to find $2 trillion in savings. Then it's, we're going to find $1 trillion in savings. Then they said, we're going to find $500 billion in savings. Then they said, we found $150 billion in savings. Well, check this out. This is DOGE went weeks without updating its webpage. Then just after midnight on Tuesday, it removed nearly $1 billion worth of previously claimed savings. Right here it says the website is filled with errors, include typos and references to multiple state mental health facilities as mental health retardation centers. They claim savings for hundreds of individual cuts also fluctuated from update to update. These... They lying. They lying. Political sense, they lying. I mean, the number just keep changing. They lying.
Where's the evidence at? Where's the damn evidence? The New York Times wrote a great piece about it, and I mean, to debunk everything. Where's the evidence? Like you said, every time they put something up, they got to take it down because they get called out on their lies. There's no proof. The only people that's getting rich out of this damn scheme is Elon Musk and Trump and his corporation buddies. Those are the only people who's making money. Everybody else, we're losing. The American people are losing. They're taking food away from poor people. We are losing. Social Security is damn near going to be gone. Who's winning? Not us. They're winning. And they have no damn evidence. So what the hell are they talking about? I mean, you know what? Here, look, I'm glad I'm from the hood. I'm glad I was born and raised in the hood. You know why? Because I know a con man when I see one. And these damn people are allowing for this man to con the hell out of them. They are worse than damn thugs. And I'm glad that it ain't me. But they are getting conned like a motherfucker. And it's you can't, I'm mad because it's people who actually didn't vote for him and voted for the black woman that has to suffer. They have to suffer.
Yep.
That's the whole fucked up part about the fucking around and finding out.
Joy?
I love you, political sis. You say all the things that I can't say. I love it. I love it.
No, you can say it. You just don't want to say it.
Well, I can say it, but I'm in my mama's house. I'll hear about it. But here's the thing. No, you're right. No, look, here's the thing. DOGE has cost the people more than it saved. If you are working for them, you'll be quickly removing it from your resume. Elon Musk is slowly being ushered out of the federal government because people within the White House itself are appalled at what he's doing. They're humiliating him. These are not people who are credible workers vis-a-vis all the typos and the mistakes and the having to do revisions, et cetera, going into agencies and not even really understanding what those agencies are doing, being met with conflicts from even the heads of the agencies, right, who are Donald Trump appointees, who are like, no, you don't know what you're doing here. This has been a colossal failure. All it served to do is to threaten agencies that have had concerns with Elon Musk. That's going to continue to happen. That is what is happening in this administration. They are weaponizing government, your taxpayer dollars, and using it as an arm to pursue their political ends, not yours. And in billionaires' political and legal ends, not yours. That's what's happening here. We all know it. Frankly, we are getting taken advantage of as well. That's right. But it's these white folks. They don't even understand so many of our government programs they are reliant on. And I think it's been a mistake for us to always talk about people of color and how we are benefited. Perhaps numerically, disproportionately, we are benefited. But numerically, they are the ones getting the vast majority of these benefits because they're the vast majority of people in the country. So it's them, it's their neighbors, it's their relatives who are going to suffer. In rural America, in urban America, is their mother who's going to have her delayed Social Security check, who's going to be standing in lines when their regional office closes. It's not just us. We got to stop creating that narrative.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be them. And you know, listen, I just need people to realize what's going on, Zach. And the bottom line is this here. These thugs, these crooks, it's all about the rich. They do not care about regular, ordinary people, and they damn sure don't care about black people.
Across the board, every single group in this country has suffered during the first 3 months of the Trump administration, and we're not at the end of the first 3 months. We saw $10 trillion wiped out of the American economy, and our 401ks diminished, in some cases depleted, based on what Trump did starting on April the 3rd with these tariffs, and it's only gotten worse. It's only gotten worse. I think $500 million they're saying has been brought in for $10 trillion that has gone out of the door. And so when you're looking at DOGE and all of their unethical actions, probably very likely illegal actions, people have lost jobs. People are losing, and that's what we know of. This is what we know has been lost. American process and procedures that we've never questioned have been slowed down, in some cases halted, all for the purpose of, they said saving money, but really for having their hands in the government to make it ineffective and inefficient to then be able to cause a massive distraction when we look at what Elon is doing instead of the person who's caused it all, Donald Trump. I want to share with your viewers and emphasize to everyone out there, we cannot take our eyes off of the man who has enabled this and who has the power to make it all happen. All of this is the fault of Donald Trump, our president, and the Republican Party. We can't forget that in 2026. We can't forget that in 2028. And we have to continuously repeat that over and over so that the American people understand that Elon Musk has no power. DOGE has no power. All the power they exercise was given to them by Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress.
Oh, absolutely. Joining us right now is Representative Justin Pearson. Glad to have you back on the show. Just take us through what the hell is going on down there in Memphis with Elon Musk and these gas turbines polluting the community.
Listen, we have Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, misusing and abusing his authority, his power, and his resources to pollute our air. Memphis and Shelby County has some of the worst air quality in the country. We are an asthma capital in the United States of America, a cancer risk of 4.1 times the national average, and over 17 toxic release inventory facilities already. And now he's trying to build the world's largest supercomputer in Southwest Memphis. It's already operating, and they are now applying for a permit. And there's a public hearing on April 25th, but they're applying for a permit to pollute our air indefinitely and in perpetuity. But they only applied for 15. And now we know from work done by the Southern Environmental Law Center that they have 35 gas turbines. The health department, Shelby County Health Department, hasn't been there one time to visit, hasn't seen it. has not notified the public of what's going on there. And they came into our community on the coattails of the Chamber of Commerce, on the coattails of Mayor Paul Young, Mayor Lee Harris, the Shelby County Health Director, and so many other elected officials who were so excited that Elon Musk was coming to the city that they never thought about the ramifications for the people who live there. This plant is actually being built in my community, in my neighborhood, in 38109, where I went to high school, where my grandmothers, God rest their souls, died from cancer, and where my fiance and I have just bought our first home. And so it's really personal, this fight, but he's using his money to manipulate people, particularly African-American leadership, into hurting and harming our community.
How is it there have been no inspections? I take it you've been in conversation with the mayor's office or the city government. What are they saying?
Right. So the Shelby County Health Director, Michelle Taylor, who works for Lee Harris, has said they are not allowed to require a permit from them until after a year because of an exception within the Clean Air Act. The only problem, Roland, that Mayor Lee Harris and Shelby County Health Director Dr. Michelle Taylor know, because the Southern Environmental Law Center on several occasions, along with Memphis Community Against Pollution, Young, Gifted, and Green, Protect Our Aquifer, Sierra Club of Tennessee, have told them is that the types of turbines these folks are using do not fit within that exception. They have the power to do something. They made a mistake in not regulating them on day one, and now they're just deciding to continue to go along with what's going on, even though they know better. And that's what's really challenging, because our lives, our lungs, our air quality is being sacrificed for the benefit of this polluter, who with 35 turbines could be the largest polluter of nitrogen oxide, even more than the Memphis International Airport. And so we're seeing that being concerning, as well as another environmental concern is formaldehyde. With 35 turbines, they could actually be putting into the air 16.7 tons of formaldehyde, a cancer-causing carcinogen. This is happening again in Southwest Memphis to a black community, a majority black community, once more, because they think, as Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali has talked about a lot, that we're a sacrifice zone, that our lives, our lungs don't matter because the profits of this richest man in the world are more important than the people. And we're being told, well, the $30 million, $15 million, roughly $15 million to the county in taxes is worth our lives.
So whose job is to check? And do they care, or is it all about the money?
Right. I think it's a lackadaisical, callous attitude toward people who have been suffering for a long time. You don't get to the point where a company can come into our city without anyone, without many of us who are elected even knowing about it, because the mayors, the public utility sign non-disclosure agreements preventing them from actually talking about this project. We just learned this past week from some reporting that not only did they sign non-disclosure agreements, not only did Elon Musk and his company just pop up on the scene and tell us they were in our community and start polluting our community without permission, without permits, but they wanted to tout, well, we're not getting any public dollars. We're not getting any payments in lieu of taxes and things like that. But new reporting has shown they were actually given help by our assessor to not pay taxes. So it's $12 billion worth of equipment. The assessor taught them how to scheme the system so that they would only pay taxes on $2 billion of that. And even of that, it's a fraction of what they're actually supposed to be paying. Money is the guiding principle, but it's not money that is going to be to the benefit of the people in Memphis and Shelby County, because the consequence of not having air, which is a human clean air, which is a human right, is immoral, unjust, and so wrong. And so, yeah, it's the money, but it's not about money for us. It's about money for him and people's political talking point that, they helped to make this happen, but they did not and have not considered the people. And that's my problem. And Shelby County Health Director Michelle Taylor is responsible for that. Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris is responsible for that, as well as other elected officials. But right now, we need to deny this permit. Right now, we need the health director to go to XAI, to this plant, to see what they are doing, to see what pollutants are being put into the air, and to do something. They have the responsibility now. I can't stop him from coming. That was Mayor Young's job. That was the Chamber of Commerce's job. But we literally have been sacrificed on the altar of this capitalistic exploitative system just to have a data center take our water, pollute our air, and hurt our communities just for the pride of some people without thinking about us at all.
And this is the thing I'm always trying to explain to people because, listen, I cover city government. I cover county government. And it's always jobs, 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 economic. But you kind of got to give a damn about the health and the air and the water and the quality of life of the people there, because that job doesn't mean jack if it shortens your life. Donald Trump and his thugs, they have canceled the lawsuit in Louisiana that's against the petrochemical companies that's in Cancer Alley killing black people. They just declared it was an illegal DEI settlement in Lowndes County, Alabama, where raw sewage was backing up into the homes in the front and the backyards of black people who live there. It's been going on for decades, and they're shutting that down. So this is a matter of life and death for people of color, but especially for black people.
Especially for black people and also for poor communities. So I was with Catherine Coleman Flowers and Vice President Gore the day before yesterday, and she was talking about the fact that the Department of Justice is no longer going to ensure that people have the protections from having sanitation and sewage issues that they currently have in Lowndes County, but also all across the Black Belt and all across the country. If we do not have the protections of our air, if we do not have protection of our water, if we do not have the protection of our soil, our human rights as well as our civil rights are what is being destroyed. And that's what we're seeing happen, particularly when city governments, county governments, health departments are having a lackadaisical attitude toward the people they are supposed to serve. Look, I don't expect Donald Trump to like me, Elon Musk to like me. I don't like them either. I don't even expect them to follow the Constitution or the Democratic Constitutional Republic experiment, right? Like, they don't care about it. They care more about being and operating as authoritarians in a dictatorial way, supporting this technocracy. They got their own agenda. But the people who we elect most directly, the people who live in the communities and the counties where we serve, have a responsibility to do all that they can to protect us using the laws and regulations that are in place. I can't stop Donald and Elon from doing what they're going to do, but we have a responsibility of making sure our mayors, our city councilors, our county commissioners aren't being bought out, aren't being sold out to these corporations and to these billionaires and these millionaires who are puppeting them around and giving them their talking points instead of those folks being true to what they said they were going to do when they ran for office, which was listen to the people, talk to the people, fight for the people, and work for the people. And that's not what's happening. These data centers are just finding communities that they can easily exploit. And they're treating us like we're some extractive colony of this country, some extractive colony of our communities. And that definitely happens in Cancer Alley, St. James. And I know a lot of good organizers there. We're connected. They're fighting for their lives. And that's what people have to realize. That's why I am naming names. That's why I'm saying all these things, because we have to realize there is a fierce urgency to protect the lives of people in black communities, in poor communities, in rural communities all across this country that are suffering because folks are wanting to take selfies and pictures with these billionaires and not listening to and looking at the consequences of asthma and children who are missing school, COPD, cancer, and the fact that it literally is taking years off of people's lives.
Questions. Joy, you first.
Well, first of all, my condolences to you on the loss of your brother. And congratulations to you for the way that you stood up for your family and the constituents you serve. You are an example of why we need folks working and running at the local level. So thank God for you. So a couple of things. One, can you just talk about like the fact that you're not saying you don't want jobs? You just want safety. You don't want people to die in the process of getting them. Can you just speak to a little bit to that? Because there's someone out there who's listening who thinks Democrats or progressives or environmentalists even are trying to stand in the way of American jobs. We're not trying to do that. What we're trying to say is you can have jobs, you can have safety as well. Can you just talk a little bit to that?
Absolutely. The idea that there is some dichotomy between having economic justice and having environmental justice is wrong. The fact of the matter is the jobs that companies like XAI and Elon Musk are bringing into communities aren't jobs for people in the community. We may be the security, we may be in the patrol car, but the engineers and folks that they are hiring are typically people who are outside of the state, who may be imported in or be working remotely. These aren't jobs, as you might imagine, in an era gone by where 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people are being employed. It's 600,000 people in our city, and they say at most this company is going to have 200 employees. So it isn't increasing the wages of folks. It's not addressing any economic inequality and injustices that we're seeing, but we are seeing an increase in the amount of nitrogen oxide. We are seeing an increase in the amount of pollution. We are seeing environmental racism and environmental injustice plaguing us once more. And it's not working.
Yeah, I mean, so that is also for our mayors and other people. When you're assessing these deals, the question is how many jobs are going to be in your community, brick and mortar jobs that you all are going to get, even if they're virtual jobs, but they're in your community, feeding back into your tax base and not taking you away with all the money you're going to have to spend cleaning up the mess that they've made. So you're so right. And if you are a mayor out there, these are the things. If you need more sophisticated folks to help you make an assessment of whether this is a good deal for you in the long term, then you need to ask for it. Not all that glitters is gold. And if Elon Musk is coming to your community, let's be clear. He does not care about America or Americans.
I got it. Political sis. I got to get this question. Political sis.
Hi, Justin. Nice to meet you. Thank you for giving us a great example of what environmental racism is. This is why it's so important for people. We try to get people to vote, especially our folks. When it comes to these companies, they pollute and they go all into Black communities. It's so many studies out there that shows that we are impacted the most by this. Can you kind of give me a percentage, and that's all I want to know, of the Black folks that's within your community or this community that's being affected?
Yeah, it's about 97%.
So, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you so much. Again, to your point, it's a textbook case of environmental racism, but environmental racism doesn't get to the place that it is without a perpetuation of harms that have been okayed over decades. It's no surprise that the same places that are redlined are the same places that have the industrial parks and the industrial plants. It's no coincidence that these are the same places that are educationally deprived, politically deprived, environmentally degraded. We have to have elected leaders and appointed leaders who listen to the voices of the constituents who are crying out and don't continue to perpetuate the harm just because that's the way that things have always been.
Zachary?
I think it's fair. I think it's also fair to say that we are not going to get anything done. It's going to get worse before it get better because of this administration who's trying to do away with the EPA.
Yep, well, no, that's definitely the case. Zachary?
I know people are going to hopefully go a little bit deeper and do a little bit more research around environmental racism. And so just for those watching, you got Cancer Alley, you had the Flint water crisis, you had the toxic PCB landfills in North Carolina, and then you also have what's happened with the Navajo Indian reservations out with the uranium mines. I want to ask, this is a question I have for you, just shifting a little bit, sir. And again, the whole entire village is with you and mourns with you with the loss of your brother. May he rest in paradise and power. This is my question for you. You, many times when you were working at the state level of government, you look up to your national leaders for advice and for guidance and for role models. But I believe that you, sir, are a role model to our national leaders who are serving the entire nation in regards to how you can be a part of the minority party, the opposition party, and still be highly effective. What advice would you give to our national leaders, to Democrats who have been elected to represent us in Congress, of how they could get power, gain authority, and do the work of true opposition to the Trump administration and congressional Republicans?
Absolutely. So, thank you so much for you all's kind comments about my brother. We miss him every single day. And look, a place that you can get more information is the nonprofit that I helped to found, and that's helping to lead this fight, Memphis Community Against Pollution, memphiscap.org. That's memphiscap.org. Submit your public comments as well while that's available against Elon Musk and as well against the Tennessee Valley Authority, which is seeking to build 6 gas combustion turbines in our community as well. Look, to be an effective opposition party, we have to recognize where we do have power. We have people power. You can see it through town halls. We had a town hall expecting 100 people. We got over 350 people this past Saturday, just strictly about environmental injustice and about what's happening with Elon Musk, XAI, and TVA. There's a lot of energy in this moment in time. And the democracy itself, right? It's the consent of the governed. We have to get the people who are interested and engaged in fighting back in the fight alongside us, which is why we're having some protests this upcoming week. It's why we're going to be attending the public hearing and have hundreds of people organized to do that. Because while I am a state legislator, right, I'm up here in Nashville, was just fighting for some bills, against some bills, but I also realize I'm a Memphian. I'm a person who lives in Shelby County, and I have a responsibility to use any influence, any power that I have there as well to elevate the causes and the concerns of the people who are being oppressed the most. And for people who are in Congress, the fight isn't just to fight Donald Trump just by, talking about it. It's to find the ways that his policies are directly impacting our communities and do what we can at the city council, at the county commission, at the state level, if you're in a more favorable state for Democrats, to resist. And I think that is where our politics has to become much more inclusive. And I mean that not just in building the movement for justice rooted in love with black folk, white folk, Latino folk, Asian folk, documented, non-documented, queer, straight, and all that. And not just that, but politically, our state leaders need to be connected with our mayors, need to be connected with our city councilors, need to be connected with our county commissioners in a much more intentional way, because we have to find the places where our power can be strongest and build from there.
Harrison, we appreciate it, man. Keep up the good fight. Thanks a lot.
Hey, we're in this thing for the long haul, and we in it together. Love and appreciate y'all.
Indeed, appreciate it. Thanks you so very much.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.
And the people who are also stupid are the people who agree with this dumbass's tariffs. Let me give y'all a sense of this here. Okay, when the idiot was there 4 years ago, more than $25 billion in taxpayer money was provided to largely white farmers because of his tariffs. I remember there were farmers who announced that they were losing their farms, filing bankruptcy. And I'll never forget, one of these white boys said, "Oh, I would vote for him again and it's worth losing." And I'm sitting there going, time out. Yo dumbass defending that? The man lost the family farm because of Trump's idiotic tariffs that did nothing, that accomplished nothing. And more than 25 billion of that were given to farmers. But let me be real clear, white farmers. So what are we now seeing? On today, which is the ultimate DEI day, diversity, equity, inclusion, when the white racists finally allowed Jackie Robinson, because it wasn't about merit, to come and play in Major League Baseball. We'll cover that later. But we're seeing the attacks on DEI in every federal government. And guess what that includes? Agriculture, USDA, is having a devastating impact on black farmers. So black farmers already got screwed and have been getting screwed for decades. Now when you had a glimmer of hope, Trump is like, shut the door. And guess who's quiet? All of these black MAGA people. You hear nothing from Senator Tim Scott. It's black farmers in South Carolina. You don't hear jack from Congressman Byron Donalds. Nothing from Utah Congressman Burgess Owens. You don't hear jack from Texas Republican Congressman Wesley Hunt. Black farmers down in Texas. There's some black farmers in Florida. Nope. Now we know ain't no black farmers in Utah. So you don't hear nothing. Not a peep. And how about all these other little MAGA minions? What's that little girl down in Atlanta, Michaela, whatever the hell her name is? Ain't heard nothing. Ain't heard nothing. What about that little other fool, Harris? They love, what about all them fools? All them fools who were sitting here at the White House, Black History Month reception, smiling and cheesing and profiling and posting their videos and all on social media. Oh yeah, they were all doing that. And guess what? Silent. How about Sharice Lane? Here's a black woman who's a Florida A&M graduate. Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. She one of them folk. When they cut $16 million from Florida A&M's pharmacy school. Ain't heard a peep. I told y'all. We saw what happened down there when Trump declared it was illegal DNA. It was illegal DNA. DEI, illegal DEI. So they canceled the deal in Alabama. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. What have I constantly said? These people do not like black people. And these same black conservatives, these black MAGA people, none of them are standing up for black people. None of them. John Boyd is the president of the National Black Farmers Association. John, we made it clear.
Yes.
Trump didn't give a damn about black farmers last time,
no,
and he don't give a damn about black farmers now.
That's correct. And Roland, you laid it all out there loud and clear. One thing that I want to highlight before we get into this tariff thing is the president put an executive order out there allowing white South African farmers to provide them with a fast pathway to citizenship in the United States, and they're going to give them land out of federal inventory from the United States Department of Agriculture and grazing land from the Department of Interior and provide them a homestead. Things they never did in this country for black people, and I've been trying to get our land. Roland, you've been covering this thing, man, for 15 years, man. We've been talking about this land and inventory. They want to give it to South African white farmers that Trump says face discrimination in South Africa. But all these 40 years I've been trying to get it right here in the United States. It's always a reason why we can't get our land out of federal inventory. That should be on blast on everybody's social media line, because land, Roland, is everything, is absolutely everything. And that's why I've been after it for all of these years. And this president came in and closed up civil rights on the first day at United States Department of Agriculture. It took an act of Congress for me to get the Civil Rights Office reopened under the Reagan administration. An act of Congress had to reopen it and fund it with money with the support of President Bill Clinton. We had to do all of this through Congress. And this president comes in one day and wipes away 40 years of work at the United States Department of Agriculture. It's crazy, and he's circumventing Congress. This man's acting like a dictator, in my standpoint. He's going around the courts. He's not abiding by the court decisions that's out here. It's rampant, and we have to rise up and speak out against it. And, Roland, thank God for this platform, man. And I roll through my social media just about every night, and I see you on the front lines with the consistent message of fighting back, man, and pushing back, and we have to do more of it.
I mean, what are you hearing from these black MAGA people? Are they responding to emails, phone calls? Where they at?
I'm glad you raised that. And we're a national organization. We got 150 51,000 members who've been around since the 80s, and we have some of those people. Roland, you hear from some of these crazy people, and they want to argue you about Trump. And now the debate is bare minimum now. But I had a lot of pushback when I came out nationally for VP Harris, from people and the organization itself that didn't want us to do that. Some of these very same type of individuals that you are describing here. We got to do better at understanding. Yes, I agree we didn't get everything that we needed from the Democratic Party, but anybody who's confused about the difference between the Democratic Party, Joe Biden, and this president in office right now, something's wrong with you. And here's the other thing that is very alarming. They changed our name, Roland. DEI, minority farmers, socially disadvantaged farmers, farmers of color. They were spitting on me at USDA because I was black. They wouldn't allow me to see the loan officer but one day of a week because I was black. I was coming in the back door, yes, in the 80s and 90s because I was black. They got to stop changing our definition. We are black people, and these are, and we face a special set of issues in this country that no other people face with pure hatred. And this president hates black people, if anybody's confused out here.
See, here's the mistake that people make. They go, oh, but no, he's got a black HUD secretary, and he had Ben Carson last time, and he's got. Here's the deal. Look at his White House.
Yes.
Are there any black top aides? No.
No. Advisors? No.
None. So all these little black MAGA minions taking photos, posting stuff, all of them, all these little folk, and I'm gonna name them: the silly ass brother, the Cartier family, all these folks, the Hodge twins, all these folks got lots to say on social media, but they are saying nothing about the impact on black people.
Yes. And you know what? This is going to be devastating on black farmers because, Roland, and that's the tariff piece. A lot of our people don't understand the commodities that I've been raising for 42 years. Corn, wheat, and soybeans are controlled by the market. Every time the president says the word tariff, the price plummets. The other countries don't want to trade with us. China is now buying soybeans from Brazil, and now they just said they're pulling out $2.5 billion of beef. I raise beef too. All these things are going to affect us. But when the money's rolled out, and you laid it out in your commentary, they say, we're going to roll this money out through the Department of Agriculture. The same Department of Agriculture that was calling me a nigger, the same Department of Agriculture that was tearing my application up, throwing it in the trash can, is going to be the same Department of Agriculture that makes sure black farmers get money. It's not going to happen. And that's why I support, we got to, get the prices up. We got to get rid of this president. I mean, I hate to start talking about that. We got to put a candidate out there. They got the galls and balls enough to stand up to him. And also say, I'm going to come into office the first day and do away with every one of those executive orders that he put out there. We're going to do away with it. We need a person like that who's standing up and fighting right now and saying and talking and saying those things right now. That's the first thing we got to do. And then black people, we got to voice up and come together. If we can't come together on the Donald Trump, we're never going to come together in this country based on this way this man has treated black people. Every week he's saying something directly, do away with Black History Month, do away with anything that has anything to do with color and blackness in this country. He came in, and his architect, Roland, we don't want to leave his name out. His name is Stephen Miller. And we had a conversation on your show years ago when he started suing me in federal court, blocking the $5 billion to black farmers. The person who orchestrated the language and who was crafting the language for this president and these executive orders, his name is Stephen Miller. And some sort of way he needs to be dealt with as well.
Again, I just want folk to know, these are the people who run around These are the people who run around. Black folks need to be supporting Trump. They sitting here touting all the wonderful, great stuff he's doing. But again, on things that are specific, they are silent. They are saying nothing.
Yes, and you're exactly right. And you could look at the brother from South Carolina. We ain't heard a word from him.
Nope.
And we got thousands of black farmers in his state. That need help and assistance. Right now, black farmers don't have farm operating loans in place in its planting season. And we need for our people to come together and help support these brothers. We should have our corn planters in the field right now, Roland. They have they're closing up local offices, and they have done away with anything that had to do with color at USDA and NRCS, Farm Service Agency, Rural Development. The agencies that's supposed to be extending credit out here, they went away and done away with civil rights directors in those agencies. Anybody that was doing anything around color, they're already gone. So I want to be very, very clear. Those positions have been terminated, and they fired them, and they fired these people. That's what this president is doing to black people in this country, and we're too silent about it, in my opinion.
Questions from the panel. Mustafa, you first.
Yeah. Well, John, it's good to see you again. I remember the time we met.
Hey, brother, how you doing? Thank you for what you do.
Yes, sir. I'm blessed. I remember our signing at EPA years ago.
Yes.
We got 48 million black folks in our country. And if you had the ability, and this is one of the platforms, to be able to speak to them, what would you ask them to do in this moment to address the issues that are happening to our black farmers across the country?
Go out and support us, blackfarmers.org. That's the first thing you got to do. You don't have to be a farmer to support this cause. I want to be very, very clear here. That's the biggest thing you can do to come out and support black farmers right now. Make a contribution is the second thing that you can do. And stay in contact and spread the information. This particular segment needs to be on everybody's timeline tonight. Share this show right now on all of your social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever suits your fancy. Post this segment out there tonight so people can get the facts about what's going on in America.
Larry?
Yeah, thank you for your time and everything you do for black farmers. It's critically important. Can you talk a little bit about, there's a long history of black farming in the United States. A lot of folks don't know about, our history in agriculture. Can you talk about what the future could look like? You talked about some of the challenges, particularly the tariffs. Could you? And I know it's having a major impact on farmers in general. And we talked about the challenges that black farmers encounter. What could the future of black farming look like with tariffs, particularly with the tariffs, in this fight with China, et cetera? What could black farming look like over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, it's going to be the loss of farms for us. That's the first thing. That these tariffs are going to put us out of business with no oversight and no regulation from the courts or from the United States Department of Agriculture. And I'm telling our people in the back of this a little bit panel, buy some land. Buy some land. Guess what? White farmers are going to be losing some of these farms too. It won't be just black farmers. Some of these mid-scale farmers are going to be losing their farm. Buy some land. If you can afford a ragged-ass Cadillac and Mercedes-Benz, you can afford 5 acres in the country. Yes, I said it. Yes, stop buying them cars, stop buying them designer clothes, and buy 5 acres in the country. That's the first thing we can do as black people. Don't leave that money in the bank right now. Buy some land when it's going to become available. And you heard it from me first. There's going to be a lot of land for sale in America, and we can't let Bill Gates and China and the rest of the people buy it. That's the first thing. We have a rich history of farming. I bet everybody on that panel came from somebody's farm and somebody from one of these southern states here in the country, and we have a farmer in our family. Tell the rich story of history of what our forefathers did. We own 20 million acres of land at the turn of the century. We're down to 3 million acres of land. Roughly hovering around 50,000 black farmers, full-time farmers that make a living. I'm proud to be one of those black farmers that farm full-time, and a host of other part-time farmers, and we raise everything. We own, and guess what, people? We're the best. I said it on your show, Roland. We're the best farmers ever in this country because we survive with no loans. We survive with discrimination. We survive with ag companies not supporting us. And we're still here by the grace of God. And guess what? We're going to survive that. You want to know why? We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. We survived sharecropping. All the things that they thought would put us out and put us down, we're still here. We're still here by the grace of God.
Larry, I'm sorry, Joe.
Thank you so much, sir, for what you're doing to build on what it was that you were saying. My grandmother, Lucy Perdue, was born in Sparta, Georgia, grew up in Macon, Georgia. My mother's side of the family, everybody's from Mississippi and Alabama through Salina, Tennessee. Give us, city folk, a one-on-one on why farming is important. It's gotten, a little trendy for us to sit and talk in church about, we should use this land and you should grow some things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But give those of us that don't know and haven't really gotten it a quick one-on-one about the importance of farming to what we eat every day already.
Thank you for that. And my grandfather's name was Thomas Board. He said land was everything. Everything good and great came from the land. Clean drinking water, fresh food to feed your family, timber to build a house on. We've gotten away from that, and the farm is where we built our families. Yes, we spent time together. We were raised together. Many black families. My daddy came from the last of 15 kids, and a lot of black families. My mother had 10 siblings. We've gotten away from the family structure of the farm and also the ability to feed ourselves. If you look at our forefathers, they lived longer than we do now. It's because they was eating healthy foods from their farms that wasn't tainted with chemicals. They were eating meats and all these great fresh things, and they lived longer because of the lifestyle. We've gotten away from the lifestyle, and to answer that question more directly, we take for granted that we have food for abundance in this country. That's what we're taking for granted. So when you look at our farmers and why it's important, we're going to sit down, we're going to eat dinner tonight. Some of us going to eat too much like I do. And we take for granted that food was grown from someone's farm in this country. So we need to go back and redevelop our connection with food, healthy foods, and the family structure that came from our forefathers. They taught us at home how to live and how to survive on these farms. And we've gotten away from that. And I want to tell the young people that's the way to survival. Land ownership is the way to freedom. If you want to be free in this country, you need to own some land so that they can't take that from you.
All right then. With John Lick, keep up the fight.
Roland, hey man, we love you.
I appreciate it.
We love you. We support you, and we appreciate the fight that you put out here every single day, man. Thank God for you.
I appreciate it, and I have not forgotten your offer to come down to the farm to ride horseback.
Come down here, man. I saw you out there with that cowboy hat on, Roland.
Come on now.
I want you on my farm wearing that cowboy hat.
Oh, that ain't a problem. I got a few I can rock. Now how far are you from DC?
About 3 hours from DC, Roland. Straight down 95 to 80.
Okay. All right, then. We're going to make that happen. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. And right now, we're accepting investors in our $17 million round to revolutionize the future of social media. Today, for just $399, you can own 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. While the big platforms have grown too massive and disconnected from their users, Fanbase is building a platform where creators and users truly come first. We've already raised $8.6 million from everyday investors who believe in this vision, and now you can join them. This is your chance to invest in a social media tech company with over 1 million users that is disrupting media by allowing anyone to reach all of their following and monetize their content from day one. The market is changing, big platforms are failing to serve their users, and Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now. Invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the future of social media.
Folks, an altercation at a Texas track meet leaves a student dead and another student facing first-degree murder charges. This story has been blowing up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but has also gone national as a number of white conservatives are attacking the young black man who has been charged in this case. His name is Carmelo Anthony. They are demanding that he get everything thrown at him for what took place in the death of Aaron Metcalf. So let me unpack what happened here. Guys, roll a video. So understand, so 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, this is him being released from jail, okay? He's been released from jail. A black judge lowered the bond. Well, that black judge has been getting death threats as a result of that. That's Judge Angela Tucker. She's been getting massive death threats. Now, again, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony says he was only protecting himself when Austin Metcalf, according to witness statements to police, tried to shove Anthony, who attended a rival high school, out of a pop-up tent when Anthony grabbed a knife from his backpack and stabbed Metcalf in the heart. Now, Anthony is now out on bond. Now, his parents held a news conference today, and the father of Metcalf showed up. Here's a tweet that racist Charlie Kirk sent out with the video from the news conference, okay? He sent this tweet out here, all right? And so you see him attacking the family and attacking activists because of what was stated. What does Kirk say? Insanity. Dominique Alexander, who represents Carmelo Anthony, just attacked Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff, for attending a press conference held by the Anthony family, calling his presence, quote, a disrespect to the dignity of his son, unquote. Kirk tweets, this is revolting. I responded to Kirk. I said, I'm curious. If the Metcalf family held a news conference and Carmelo Anthony's dad showed up at that news conference, would you be saying the same thing? Joining us right now is the activist in Dallas, Dominique Alexander. Dominique, glad to have you back on Roland Martin Unfiltered. It's been some time. So, first of all, you have Charlie Kirk saying you represent the family. You're not a lawyer, correct?
Not at all.
So,
not at all.
So explain for the public your role in this case.
So the Next Generation Action Network, of course, is founded here in Dallas, Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex since 2014. We are the advocacy arm. Our organization is an advocacy-led organization. We are not the attorneys. The attorney for this case is Mike Howard. We do the advocacy around making sure that people are aware of the situation and supporting and how to support this family and to ensure that this family's rights are not violated. And the things that are legal matters are handled by the lawyers.
What's crazy here is, so check this out. Here's a tweet right here. This person said, I did a Twitter search for Carmelo Anthony till up to 2 days ago after the incident. I could only find one post from a black account defending him, but there are countless posts from whites making it a race issue. Whites racialize everything, then cry when black people take sides. And then this is a scroll of tweets that this person actually pulled. And when this story first happened, they called Carmelo Anthony a thug. It was all sorts of names. They were saying that Aaron Metcalf was this football star. He was this bright young man, talented, high grade point average, all of that. But Carmelo Anthony is not a thug. Carmelo Anthony is a high grade point average student as well. And so Anthony was being treated as a savage, and Metcalf was being treated as the golden, a perfect student, the golden child, if you will.
Yes. One of the things, Roland, that we need to point out in this situation is that most of the people raise their consciousness because of what Hunter Metcalf said in the local media, where he literally admitted over the weekend, days after, the same day, I believe it was the next day, where he stated that his brother was told by Carmelo to not touch him and literally admitted that he did it anyway. And so no one did that interview for Hunter Metcalf. He did it himself. And so this hate, this race, this bigotry wasn't introduced by us, right? It was introduced by them, right? And I'm gonna say this, Roland. I don't know if you even remember this because I was on the panel for the DPD police chief, and I believe I had this guy coming after me, and I used this quote, and I said it on your show, and it was quoted in other publications, even the New York Times. We will never ask the oppressor for permission to liberate our people. I don't know if you remember me.
Oh, no, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Show, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember.
We will never ask that. And I will say that 10 years later. Don't get mad when you come after ours and then we respond and support ours, right? And so I'm not here to apologize or basically give an excuse onto why we are supporting Carmelo Anthony. We are supporting him because if you can support your white baby, we can support our black kid, right? And so these laws are not just created for some, they're created for all, right? And so just like he should have his right to be able to claim self-defense, and what I want them to understand is Carmelo didn't come out days later and claim self-defense. He claimed self-defense the moments the police touched him, the moments the police even arrested him and detained him. He didn't come days later. He has always, and it's in the affidavit. But what these people have done is create it as a racial thing. We see that even with this judge. This judge is literally has been a Republican for over 3 decades. I personally don't agree with her political views or whatever it may be. She will probably never be at a Next Generation Action Network protest or anything we do, right? But what they show Black America is, regardless of what ballot box you check, you are still Black in America. And that's what they're showing to the people. And that's what people are rising up again. And I told somebody, this Trump administration is going to either unite us or divide us, right? And I'm just happy to see Black America and our allies standing in this rainbow coalition of justice to say, no, this is not right. And we ain't asking y'all for permission to help our baby.
This here is a post from the very conservative Rupert Murdoch-owned New York Post. They also own the Wall Street Journal. They also own Fox News. They also own, for folks who need to understand, they also own Fox Soul, and they also own Tubi, okay? So this is what the New York Post. Carmelo Anthony renting $900,000 home in gated community with family, bought new car after release on bond in Austin Metcalf murder case report. They also have been stating that that Carmelo Anthony's family have been withdrawing money from a fundraising effort. It's called Give, Send, Go. In fact, the folks at Give, Send, Go, the folks at Give, Send, Go literally had to come out and explain why they were not removing the Anthony fundraiser from their platform. People were threatening that platform by saying you should not be allowing them to raise money. This right here, y'all, give me a second. This is actually the New York Post tweet right here. But the folks even at TMZ reported no money was actually withdrawn from this account.
Correct. TMZ actually called Give, Send, Go and actually asked them, have the family have access to this fund? And they literally responded and said no. And what was interesting about it is around noon yesterday, they called them and got that confirmation. Well, Give Send Go sent an email to the family at about 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, notifying that they could actually start the process of withdrawing the funds, which everybody know, even withdrawing, it takes a few days to even hit your account. When the family put their information in to be the beneficiary of the account, because the account was set up by someone else, that took days for verification, and especially when the money is for the benefit of a minor. It took days for verification, and these falsehoods was only created to discourage people from giving money to the platform. So they start these lies and all of these things that they could have easily verified by just picking up the phone, calling Give, Send, Go. They would answer the phone, they would respond to emails, and they let them know. And so TMZ called directly, and they responded. And so they could have done that just like anybody else, but no, they just started spreading out reports, all of these things. They started talking about the family paying for private security. The security, if you see the video, the security is my security staff. The director of security for NGAN is in that video escorting Carmelo Anthony out, as well as me and another individual of the NGAN staff, right? We have our own security apparatus, and we have made it our business to ensure the safety of this family.
The Daily Caller, they put this tweet here out where they pull from the news conference of Carmelo's mother. And again, I need people to understand the framing. Control room, y'all get the clip ready. The way this was framed, and I keep telling people, this is why black-owned media matters. This is why social media matters, why you need to have credible black voices. The framing of, and look, we've been trying to get the Anthony family on to talk about this as well, because the framing from day one has been black thug kills perfect white football star. That was the framing from day one. Folk took that and they ran with the photo, not of Carmelo in a suit, not Carmelo in his athletic attire, not any of that. Everything was about, let's show thugs. So this is a photo here. This is a photo here of Carmelo in suit, tie, okay, school photo. That's what was shown. But the framing, when we saw all of these stories, when we saw everything come out, and I remember from day one, it was, we're going to show something different. And this is what it was right here. This is what it was, the mugshot. And so folks took that and they ran with it. Oh, thug, single parent home, daddy not around. At the news conference, this is what his mom says.
Like 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband worked hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. And in reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once the request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution, we believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, when I speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day, there's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in the legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
That right there, quite emotional, and families describing all they're going through. And again, the framing of the narrative of this has been, this family is broke, destitute, all that sort of stuff. Then it's, how dare they go to this home? How dare they? People who don't understand Dallas-Fort Worth, just describe for them the area where this school is located and the type of homes that exist out there. This is not a low-income area of Dallas-Fort Worth.
Not a single low-income area. Frisco, I'm born and raised in Dallas, Texas. Y'all graduated high school in 2007. Literally, Roland, this area where they were was just late. It was just fields. This is an area that has been developed in the last decade or two. And I know you know that a lot about that, Roland, too. These were fields when I was a kid. Literally fields. The medium income level is there probably about $150,000. This is not a low income area. This is home of where the Cowboys headquarters is, a number of development. I believe Universal Studios is about to come there. This is not a cheap area. So if you're trying to lease a home or do anything, you're going to live probably in a $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, or $800,000 home, right? If you are leasing in this property. And Roland, man, I just wanted people to see the heart of this family. Just to see that video of the mother saying that was even hard, because here in this office, as people watching that press conference and hearing that mother, it wasn't a dry eye in the building. And especially for people who know Kayla Hayes and know this quiet woman and soul, and that just came from the bottom of her heart, and just the pain, the fear, I've been there to see the pain, the fear of these children and the things that they have had to experience with this situation. And I just want people to understand, The hate hadn't been coming from here. We didn't create it. Or we cannot pull a black card. The reality, that's our reality. That's what we live through every day. We can't pull our reality, right? And we ain't gonna apologize for being yet black in America. We ain't gonna apologize for that. And I think what you said, Roland, is important because that's what set the outrage of most people in America, black people particularly, about this case to say, hold up, wait a minute now. Y'all going too hard. And then young people started to post that even knew Carmelo Anthony, right? And was saying, Carmelo is not this. Carmelo is a 3.5. His colleagues started standing up for him on social media, right? The kids, the overwhelming support. That's the reason why we told everybody we could not talk about the nuances of the case because it's so involved. Every last witness to this situation is a minor. We cannot release we can't release the information around it because there were no adults in that proximity of that area, right? All of the witnesses to this are minors. And that's one of the things we wanted to give clarity to today, to make sure people understood the facts, because there's so many different moving parts. But as soon as I release one of those kids' name or even an inkling around it, I become legal liability civilly and criminally.
Just for folks who are watching, just so they can understand, again, how this is being played out. I'm trying to connect here. I am, if you go to Twitter, and I call it Twitter, you go to Twitter and you type in
I do too.
Carmelo Anthony mug, Karmelo mug. We have a connection problem. What you will see is mostly white conservative accounts, angry, mad, and upset. There we go. Look at this. Carmelo Anthony's family has no shame, allegedly selling Justice for Carmelo t-shirts for $25 to profit off his killing of Austin Metcalf while flaunting a $150,000 Cadillac Escalade and a $3,000 a month gated community rental. Does this send the wrong message? And then you see disgusting, the family of alleged murderer Carmelo Anthony. Then, of course, it's no shock you got black conservative grifter Brandon Tatum. What does he post? When a community celebrates the accused instead of mourning the victim, it's a sign of serious cultural rot. This merch launch for Carmelo Anthony is shameful and deeply concerning for what lies ahead for the black community. Here's why. And then, of course, he goes on, and we all know Brandon Tatum, it will be as anti-black as you can get because he's grifting off of MAGA. And here's somebody respond to him right here saying, if it is self-defense, stand your ground applies in Texas, and it is you who is wrong. So what Brandon Tatum is saying is, he's saying celebrating the accused. So what Brandon Tatum, Dominique, and all these other white conservatives, what they are saying is that if you are accused of a crime, you don't get the same benefit as George Zimmerman. You don't get the same benefit as Kyle Rittenhouse, who they celebrated and raised money for. They're like, oh no, Carmelo Anthony is guilty until proven innocent. So therefore, he's the murderer. So he shouldn't get due process. The family should not. People shouldn't be giving money to a defense fund. And again, their framing is that this black thug killed a perfect football star who's white. That's the framing of this. And that's how this thing is played out in media and social media.
Correct. It is. And yet Twitter is yet, because of the oligarch that owns it now, is yet a nesting breed for yet extremists to yet just go in and command the algorithms and just put a whole bunch of different things. That's the reason why our organization don't even check that stuff, don't even do anything on that yet platform. because of the simple fact that we know that that is a nesting ground for conservative, right-wing extremists and hateful people to use that platform to put out disinformation. And they've been doing this they've been doing this ever since this platform was purchased by Elon Musk. But at the end of the day, I think that people are really understanding exactly what's going on. And that's the reason why we felt like it was important for us to have this press conference today to say, listen, what we aim to do is literally allow you to attack, discredit, destroy our Black baby. These platforms have been used to raise $2 million for Kyle Rittenhouse and a whole lot of people before Carmelo Anthony's fundraiser was on there, right? And if he can raise $2 million, why can't our baby raise $500,000 for his legal defense, right? And so the reality is people are seeing this double standard, and it's clear. They don't feel like these laws that were created, that many of us was there in the Texas legislature saying, hey, you don't need to allow permitless carry. We don't need stand your ground laws. We don't need them. But you kept them on the book. And yet, since you kept them on the book, it ain't just for you. It's for all of us. And that's just what it is. That's final. I don't want it. You kept them on the book when we fought to make sure that George Zimmerman was held accountable for the death of Trayvon Martin. You kept them on the book. We testified in the Texas legislature, in the Florida legislature, in many legislatures that I know personally. I have traveled to speak against stand your ground laws and all these different types of things. But since you kept them on the book, I don't care about what you're trying to say now. These laws are for everyone.
All right, Dominic Alexander, we surely appreciate you joining us on today's show. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.